This is episode 3 of Campers and Vans Getting Coffee. Thank you for being here. My name is Travis DeRose. And in this episode, I have on Evan and Katie. And they're on Instagram with the account So We Bought a Van. But the O and so is actually a 0 because that name was taken. But Evan and Katie were super great. In the interview, you'll hear I start off, it's just Katie, and then Evan jumps on later. He was doing something else, but got both of them on there in the end. And, we just kind of talk about their van life, what they do. They have a Sprinter van that they bought and converted. They actually bought it brand new, and we talk a bit about why they decided to do that and kind of the benefits of it and why it might not actually even cost that much more to just buy a new Sprinter van. And they just kind of go through their lives, like their daily lives, and how they find camping spots, all that kind of stuff. So it's super interesting. And without further ado, here is Evan and Katie. Okay, hello, Katie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. So, what are you up to? Why don't we start by? Why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about you and Evan and kind of your backstory a bit.
Yeah, so we've been together almost 3 years. It's kind of at the beginning of the relationship, actually, this conversation got brought up about living in a car or some sort of a camper and kind of traveling around a little. So we kind of started planning around year 2, kind of beginning of that, and then we moved into our Sprinter van in June of 2017 full time. So we're about at the 6-month mark, and we're currently in Portland, Oregon for the holidays with our family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So 6 months. So how's it going so far?
It's good. Some things are, the same that you would expect. Some things are a little bit different than I think what we anticipated, but it's been really good. We've covered a lot of ground. Our goal at the beginning of this whole trip was to do this for about a year. And then if we could find the means to make that go longer, that would kind of be the plan. So as long as, if we're able to stretch it out, that'd be great. But as of right now, we're kind of at the 6-month mark of possibly the end of living in a car full time, at least. So we've hit to Alaska. We spent a month up there. We've driven through about 40 states. And some of that means we stayed in one state that we loved for a month. Some of that means we stayed in one state for a night. So we're about to start the southern part of the journey, which will be much warmer.
Yeah, right. Wow, cool. So what was kind of the conversation like? Like, why did you guys decide to live in this van for a year and try that out? He really always had this idea in his head. I think it was something he always wanted to do. And so it was like our second or third date. It was really early in the relationship. He said, he brought up the conversation while we were car camping. And he's like, I really want to do this at some point. Like, if you want to be involved in it, great. If you don't, I understand. But like, this is something I want to do in the future. And I graduated college in 2014. So I have some debt from that. And I was like, let me focus on that for a little. I'll get that number down and then we can talk more seriously about it. So I really worked at paying that stuff off for about a year. And then we started looking at vans. And that process, of course, takes forever. Mm-hmm. From looking on Craigslist to when we actually bought, it was like over 6 months or something. It took a while, but. Right. Yeah. You want to take your time and find the right van, right?
Yeah. Make sure you're making the right decision. And, the kind of car you want to be in is totally different for everybody. So making sure that you're just finding the right fit, it can be time consuming.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it sounds like Evan was sort of like, he was like right from the get-go, the relationship, he was just vetting you and making sure that you were cool with like living in a van.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. He's pretty upfront and honest about things, which is really nice. And so that way I always knew that conversation was going to be there. It wasn't like we had settled into this heavy lifestyle and then he was like, oh, I want to do this. It was a conversation really early on, which I think makes it kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, did you guys live in Portland before?
Yeah, we actually coincidentally went to the same middle and high school. We're semi-connected. Our parents raised us less than a mile away from each other. And he was in my younger sister's friend's social group. But we didn't actually connect until, end of 2014, I think, middle of 2014. Maybe it was 2015. I can't even remember. It's like time just continues to pass.
Right. That's all right.
Yeah.
So you guys are in Portland.
Yep.
You decided to do this van thing at least for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you guys have a place waiting for you? Did you guys sell everything? Were you living at home? What's that like?
Yeah, so kind of different. We didn't live together before. We're actually he was on the cusp of Portland, and we really grew up in Beaverton. So I was living at my parents' house when Evan and I started dating. I was living in Corvallis, Oregon. I had stuck around and got a job at the university after I'd graduated, and we started dating. And then a couple months, and I moved back to Portland with my parents, or Beaverton with my parents. So I was living there, and he was in a house, kind of on the cusp of Portland. So we were in that situation for, I don't know, a year and a half maybe. And we just knew we were getting a van. We were saving up all the time. That was like our main goal of budgeting. And then I ended up selling my car when we were getting ready to leave. I sold all my furniture, and I don't have a lot. I really only have like clothes and some family stuff. Mm-hmm. But the house Evan was living in, actually, he was renting it from his dad. And the two people that moved in after we left were kind enough to leave us a storage unit back there. And as the third bedroom is kind of our little storage unit. So we have a lot of his furniture and a lot of boxes and stuff in there. And he was able to leave all of his furniture in that house and kind of rent it fully furnished, which is nice because some of that stuff is passed down through family and we don't want to get rid of it. And he still has his car, so that helps when we're home.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you guys still do have something to come back to if you do decide to kind of call it quits for a bit after the year, huh?
Yeah. I mean, and our friends and our family have been really supportive, so we haven't talked too much in detail about where we'll come back, but there's no doubt in my mind that we'll have something waiting for us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, so you mentioned you finished college in 2014, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so are you guys... so you're on the road basically full time. How are you guys working out, like making a living, trying to make money? Are you trying to work, or are you just strictly traveling right now?
We were strictly traveling. What we did is we had a goal. We made a budget of how much money we thought we needed to live, mm-hmm. and we saved up for a year, and we saved like a chunk of money. And once we hit that number, we quit our jobs. And obviously once the van was done and we had hit that number, we quit our jobs. Uh-huh. So we weren't working at all for the first 6 months. I actually recently started dabbling in some remote work. So I'm kind of working on a couple projects. I have like an interview this week. So I'm trying to do something a little bit just to kind of supplement some funding, mm-hmm. but that's really it. We haven't had any constraints about jobs, which has been really, really nice. And it's one of the reasons that we're able to do this is because we were able to save up and we're kind of capping it at a year. And then if we're able to kind of dive into remote work and make it work longer, we both have interest in kind of doing this lifestyle for an extended amount of time. We just have to make sure that things fall into the right place financially for that.
Okay, I see. So really the year cap is just sort of because of monetary stuff, not really because you guys have had enough of it. You would kind of want to continue in the van and stuff like that if you could support it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about maybe we get back and we keep the van, maybe we keep the van and we continue living in it, maybe we get back and we sell the van and we do another one. We're kind of open to things, and I mean, we don't really have a plan. That's kind of the interesting part, is that we're really winging it and we don't know what it's going to look like in 6 months. But we definitely talk about options, so we kind of know what's on the plate that we can choose from.
Right, cool. That's good. Yeah, see, it's just nice that you guys have the options to do that, and you can kind of test it out for a year, see if you like it, see if it's for you, mm-hmm. and then decide to keep going or whatever you guys can work out, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So let's talk about your actual van for a bit. So you talked about the process of finding the van. So you guys mm-hmm. have a Sprinter van, is that right?
Yes, we do. We have a Mercedes Sprinter.
What year is that?
It's 2016.
Okay, so did you guys buy it new?
We did.
Okay, cool. So how come you opted to buy a new one rather than a used one or even like a different type of van? Why'd you settle on this one?
We talked about all different kinds of ways that we could do this trip. We even dabbled. Evan drives an Xterra that's like lifted up, and we even talked about putting a pop-up tent on the top of that. We've talked about maybe a truck with a camper in the bed. We talked about everything. I mean, we talked new, old, used, anything that there was out there. We were looking on Craigslist all the time, every day. And as we got talking more and more about it, I think I was particularly more comfortable going in a newer car. We originally talked about VW buses. We talked about that as well. And we just don't have the knowledge to keep up on maintenance on things if something was to go wrong. And because the original plan isn't to do this super long term, it's kind of, like we said, a cap year. I really wanted to make sure that we could get places efficiently and not have to worry about maintenance and breakdown. So we just figured, let's go ahead and buy new. Even if you get a car a couple years older, I mean, they're not that much cheaper. They're really not that much cheaper. And we were able to really talk down our salesman to the point where I don't even know if he made commission on the car. We got the price pretty well. So that helped. And just after comparing everything, we like the look of the Sprinters.
Yeah.
Size of them.
Right. You can stand up in it.
Yeah, we can stand up, and Evan really, really is a fan of the Mercedes Sprinter. That's, I think, his kind of go-to look of a vehicle that he wants. And then there's all these other things that come with it. We wanted a diesel car, the gas mileage. We have some services that come along with the Mercedes label. We can, we get roadside assistance for 2 years for free. There's really good customer service in that. So. Oh. We looked at everything. It's just this was a car that we felt like this is what we want. This is the size that we want. This is the length. This is the height. Everything kind of fell into place for us. Right.
Yeah. You got to decide what's important to you and what you want in a van. So it sounds like you guys definitely thought that through.
Yeah.
So buying it new, is that, you got those roadside services and stuff, buying it new. Do you know if you would get those if you bought a used Sprinter van?
I don't know. And we really only started to understand the depth of what that package meant. We had a really good customer service experience in Philadelphia at a dealership there. And this woman was kind of explaining to us all these benefits that we get. If we run out of gas, somebody from Mercedes will drive gas out to us. There's a huge benefit kind of with that. And it's only under warranty, obviously, for the first 2 years, but I'm not sure about used vehicles.
Right. Yeah, I could see that'd just be nice to have that sort of peace of mind that you got a nice new vehicle, you got warranty, you got all this customer service, assistance and everything. So you just kind of know that you're set with that and you don't really have to worry about that. So I can definitely understand that, where if you don't want to have to think about that and deal with it, that would definitely be worth the investment to just buy, a new Sprinter van like you guys did.
Right. And, like I said, price difference, it's not that much. If you really compare diesel vans, you're not going to save a whole lot by shaving some stuff off. And you're also going to get mileage. There's all these other things that go into it. And another thing is that we got to pick exactly the package that we want. We got to choose what kind of seats we wanted. We got to choose if we wanted the navigation system or not. Mm-hmm. We got to choose if we wanted it to have a heater pre-installed, windows, all these. We were able to really pick the exact vehicle that we wanted.
Right. Cool. In that sense, it might even save money, because then you don't have to install that stuff yourself, buy the extra seats or heaters and everything like that too. It's already just there and included in the price, huh?
Yeah. And when you buy a used vehicle, and there's nothing wrong with buying a used vehicle. We've even talked, if we did this again, we're like, oh, maybe we should do a used vehicle next time. You just got to compare that original price that you're going to buy the car for. And then you have to think about, you're probably going to have to do some maintenance on that car. Mm-hmm. So if that's, $1,000 or $5,000, whatever it is, depending on the vehicle and how old it is, that gap is really not that big.
Right. Yeah.
And you're looking at 0 miles on a car when you buy it, if it's new.
Mm-hmm. True. And you guys you have this dark gray one with the black wheels. It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, we got new wheels last or new tires last year. Dad was really nice to get us for a Christmas present. We got a powder coat the center exactly as we wanted. So I really like those.
Yeah,
they look
awesome.
Really nice.
So cool.
Thanks.
And you mentioned it was a diesel. So do you have any idea on what mileage you get with it?
Yeah, we're looking at about 22 to 23, which is pretty good. I mean, we're not driving like a 12 mile to the gallon kind of car.
Yeah.
It's usually about 50 to fill the tank, so it's really not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. It seems like diesels might be the way to go, especially for a van and with hills and everything and mileage and stuff. So, cool.
Yeah.
So, can we get into like the build process of it? Did you guys do it yourself, or did you have somebody help you guys build like all the interior stuff? Looks like you guys have some cabinets, a kitchen, and everything like that. So, what was that process like?
Yeah, so we did most of the build ourselves. Obviously, when we say ourselves, there's usually an army behind what that means. So Evan's dad was really kind to assist with the build process as well. He's got this extended driveway and every single tool under the sun. So Evan's actually coming into the room right now. He'll pop on here.
Oh, okay.
So between he and Evan and myself, we were able to plan and build pretty much everything. The one thing we did have help with from a family friend was the cabinets. He's a professional, cabinet builder. And so we were able to design those, send that off to him, have him create them, and then we were able to install those ourselves.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm just looking at photos of them right now. They look super cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and obviously you're going to pay to get cabinets built. That's going to be, a prettier penny than if you were to build them yourself. But it's been really worth it. I don't know if at the beginning, once we talked about the pricing on that, we were kind of hesitant, but it's been worth it. They're super sturdy. They're really nice. The inside of them is even really nice. And we never have to question the quality, especially on like back roads and washboard roads. We never have to worry about anything falling apart.
Mm-hmm. So what were some of the features that you guys really wanted to have in your van that looks like you have a kitchen? Do you guys have a shower? Looks like you guys have a permanently fixed up bed. Like, what were some of the things that you had to have, and then maybe some things that you compromised on that maybe you wish you have now?
Okay. And just so you know, Evan's on the call now.
Hey, what's up, Evan? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Sorry, it took a second.
Oh, no worries.
So, I mean, yeah, we have swivel seats on both the seats. We have the hardwood floors. We have the kitchen with a 2-burner stove and the sink and the faucet. We really wanted a stationary bed. We kind of went back and forth between, those foldable ones that go down into seats with the table. We talked about the ones that raise, all sorts of things, and we just didn't want to have to set things up and pull things down every day. Mm-hmm. We tried to think about what we could do to make it feel more homey for us and less like we're camping. Mm-hmm. And maybe that makes it sound kind of lazy, but I think we just wanted it to feel, we wanted to just be able to park somewhere and feel like it was our home, and it was easy enough.
Right. Yeah.
Try to not have a ton of setup and takedown, after if we go on a long hike and you get back and you want to just take a nap, we don't have to set the bed up, or when you wake up in the morning and then you're okay, we got to set up the table. We wanted to try to eliminate as many processes like that as possible, I guess, just to make things pretty easy to do.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of whatever you want.
I mean, especially when you're living in this thing every day, to do that every single day gets really annoying and monotonous and boring.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, even for me, I don't have a van or anything, but growing up, we went traveling in our RV, and even at the age of 10 in the RV, I'm like, God, I have to make my bed again every morning. And we were just in there for 2 weeks, so I could see how that'd be a big priority for me too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely at times where it would be nice to have that big area to sit with a table, but I mean, we're outside enough camping, and we have our camping table and chairs that we set up outside of the van, that it's really not something that we've really missed. But definitely from time to time, you're it would be nice to just have a huge seating area and a nice table to work on, but I would say having the bed the way that it is has worked out great so far.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well,
And we do have small, I don't know if you know, we have a small toilet that sits to the right of the sink on the floor there behind the driver's seat. It's a very small toilet. We only pee in it. And you just have to manually dump it. But you can pick the whole toilet up and pull it outside. So it's just that porta potty that we just slid in that space. And then we have the road shower too on the outside that holds, I think, 5 gallons of water.
Yeah, it's like a pressurized tube that holds water, and then the sun just heats it up. So we haven't used it as much as we originally thought. But I mean, between showering with friends and people we've met on the road, or in the summertime, or just warmer months like swimming in rivers and lakes, it's really not been like that big of a deal.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. So, I mean, it's just kind of nice that you guys have that. You guys have the shower and you guys have the toilet in case you need it. So it's just sort of a backup and maybe late night use and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when we're in like a parking lot in the middle of the night, and mostly like Katie, if she's got to go to the bathroom, it's so much like easier to have just a little toilet in the van than like having to like run into the Walmart or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
But usually in this summer, we really don't. We barely use our toilet this summer, and I don't think we used our shower at all until fall.
Oh, okay. So
and by rivers, by lakes. We were outside all the time. The doors of the van were always open. We weren't we just slept in the car really and cooked in the car sometimes. But we even have an outdoor stove that we can take out and set up on our table. So
cool.
We try to utilize as much space as we can.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I guess that was another thing. We see a lot of people that have like just a Coleman stove that you take in and out, but we wanted to have something in the van. Well, at least we thought we did going into it out. I mean, we ended up using the indoor stove way more often than we thought, especially just in the morning. Like even if we're at a campground or camping, it's like for coffee, boiling water. It's just so nice to like have it right there and not have to like worry about anything. But then come like summer months, I mean, for like dinner and we cook it outside just about every single day.
Yeah, every day.
Right, yeah. It's funny how some things you think you'll use a lot and they're super important, but then you don't even end up using them as much as you thought, huh?
Yeah, I would say like that's like the shower thing. We've probably used it like 4 times, I think.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah.
And we had, I mean, one of the days we used it was like 90 degrees out and we were next to the lake and we had been swimming all day, but it was more of a like, we wanted to just like test it and keep using it and refill the water. And it was kind of pointless, but
yeah,
that was one thing. I mean, I don't know. And then like a shower inside, it would just take up so much space that I just don't think it's worth it, especially since we have the smaller or the shorter Sprinter.
Yeah, we have a 144-inch wheelbase. I didn't mention that when we were talking about the vans, but
yeah, so
it's
that's the smallest one. And like, if we were to do a shower or anything else really inside the van, it would just take it up way too much space. But like I said, between campgrounds, friends, whatnot, showering really hasn't been that big of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Most people that have a shower and a bathroom inside, like a compostable toilet and a shower, they usually have the 170-inch wheelbase.
Yeah.
That's what we found. Sometimes even the extended, which is the third size.
Oh, okay.
It's like another 6 feet. It's like 6 feet longer than the van that we have. So then it opens up way more options. We were working with a pretty small areas. So I think the main necessities were like bed, sink, stove, and like storage, and then the little toilet. That was about it.
Right. So you got the necessities in there. You guys are set. Because, I mean, did you?
Yeah.
Do you find that having the shorter Sprinter van is a bigger advantage than having to deal with the extra 6 feet on the back?
I mean, when it comes to like parking, definitely.
But we can fit in a normal parking spot. Yeah, we can parallel park in the city if we need. Like, we can go anywhere, which is really nice. Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's definitely been, a huge thing. That like when we first were looking at vans, we were in the 170 wheelbase, which I think is another like 4 feet.
I think it's 4.5 feet longer.
And I mean, it would have been nice, but I was just standing in that thing and I was like, if we got to park in the city or even just a normal like parking lot, I mean, you're really sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've like parallel parked in like downtown Chicago with our van. And I mean, I'm not going to say it was like easy, but it definitely makes things so much easier to have a van that's not like so big. So, and we just, I mean, the van is like home base, but we try to like be out of the van as much as possible. So it's really not like we're just sitting in the van all the time, like on the couch watching TV, you know, it's just kind of like the place we go to at the end of the night.
We usually have chairs around a campfire, a table set up with the outdoor stove. If we're camping out, it's really just like in and out of the van when we need stuff and then when we go to sleep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just holds the bed and all the storage and gear. But yeah, I would say I don't regret getting the small van. I think it's like perfect. And you see people doing it in like the old like Volkswagen vans and like
people doing it in 4-car sedans.
Yeah, it's so much smaller and you just don't need as much space as you think.
Right. Cool. So where are you guys generally staying the night? Are you guys finding like established campgrounds? Or are you just finding spots that you can pull off and stay for free, kind of off the grid? Or what are you guys doing there?
Honestly, all of the above.
Yeah.
We've slept in like parking lots, neighborhoods, friends' driveways,
campgrounds,
middle of the forest, like way remote. I would say West Coast was like, West Coast, I don't know. We spent a lot of time in like Colorado, Montana, Wyoming, and there's just so much free camping there. So I don't think we stayed a single night like in the city. It was always like out in the middle of nowhere.
BLM or national forest.
Yeah, a lot of national forests. We have a couple of apps we use that like it's usually like dispersed campsites. So you'll just show up and it'll give you like GPS coordinates and it's literally like a fire ring.
Oh, nice.
But then sometimes we use All Stays. It's like an RV and camping app. That's the main one that we use. I think it's $10 for it. But you can filter based on what you're looking for. So sometimes it's literally national forest and you can camp anywhere you want. Sometimes it's a dispersed campsite with a fire ring. But we've been to some free campsites that have like a barbecue place, an actual fire ring, water, like a toilet, a garbage collector for like bear safety. So it really just completely depends on the state. And we've only paid for camping twice though.
Yeah, East Coast camping's just not as like common over there. I mean, we definitely passed some like established campgrounds, but
like pay to camp.
Usually those places are like anywhere from $25 to $35 for a night, and that's not really, for us. It's like we'd rather be out and about all day, roll into a parking lot late, go to bed, wake up, and then hit the road in the morning and like eliminate the cost of that. Just because, I mean, if we were paying for campgrounds on a weekly basis, it would add up so fast.
Yeah. I don't know how people afford that.
Yeah. So East Coast, luckily we had several friends in like the Boston area, New York. So when we were in the bigger cities that we were looking forward to like exploring, we were able to just park in their driveway. But we definitely had our fair share of like Walmart parking lots on the East Coast.
It works.
A couple. Yeah.
And they have Redbox, you can't complain there.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a lot of our nights.
Super glorious, but I mean, for what we were doing, it worked out.
We have window covers also. We have a curtain that we pull from behind our seats. So really at the end of the day, if we're in a neighborhood or a parking lot, people don't really know that we're in there that much. Or if they do, they can't see us and we can't see out.
Right. Yeah, that works. That's a good tip to have, that you can really just kind of go stealth anywhere there, huh?
Yeah. That was like another thing. I mean, when we originally started talking about like traveling and whatnot, it was picking the vehicle. We wanted something. We didn't want like a huge RV or like something that really screamed like,
like we're living in our car, you know. Although I don't know how subtle our van is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's more subtle than like an RV. You know, if we're parked in a neighborhood on the side street and like all the covers are up, like we're not attracting. I don't know.
Yeah, our van is also dark.
I like to think not. Yeah.
Everything is either black or gray, so we can kind of, when it's dark outside, we don't stand out super intensely.
Yeah. Which was definitely something to think about, you know, especially just like if we're going to park the van and leave. I don't know. We wanted to try to make it like our windows are pretty high up so people can't just see in very easily. Think about stuff like that. Just, you know, because if someone's scoping you out and sees that you're living in it and then you guys take off, I don't know, we've heard of vans getting broken into, and we just wanted to try to eliminate that as much as possible, the worry of it.
Yeah, that's something to definitely think about. And then, so you said the All Stays app, is that, that's what you guys use to find those kind of off the grid campsites or free sites?
Yeah, we actually use that for a bunch of stuff. You can filter based on, if you want to pay for a site, you can choose a price range. You can filter for free sites. You can filter to see where national forest lines start. Can you hear me still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lot of the time, like we said, we'll just enter a national forest and we'll just find our own areas. But it also provides stores like Cabela's, Costco's, gas stations, the nearest gas station, the nearest rest stops. We can filter if we're looking for a propane refill. We can filter if we're looking for an RV dump station or for free water sources. Our vehicle also, we can't go under, especially on the East Coast, we can't go under super low bridges. So you can do all these different filters on the app that tell you how high bridges are or ways to not drive if you can't make it under. So it's really been super helpful for us. And then if for any reason we can't find a campsite on that app, there's always freecampsites.net we've had a lot of success with as well.
Okay, cool. So those are some good little resources to use. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we use those actually, I think every day.
Every day.
That's usually how we find our information on where to go and how to park.
Yeah. I mean, definitely between the two, we've been able to find something in almost every situation we've been in where we're like, all right, where are we going to stay tonight? Usually one of the two apps
has something.
Or website, I guess. And
they also clarify only certain Walmarts let you park in their lot. Otherwise, you hear about people getting bugged. They break down all the Walmarts by either you can stay or you can ask to stay, or they for sure do not allow it. So that's been really nice because we've been lucky enough to actually never have our window knocked on while we're parked somewhere. Nobody's ever come and said you need to leave.
Cool, man. Those things sound like a lifesaver then, those apps.
I know. $10 and that's, it was a one-time fee and we kind of were like, should we buy this? Should we buy this? We just did it and we've used it every single day.
Wow, so cool. Yeah, I know. It's so funny with like apps. Like, I don't know, people drop like $5 at Starbucks, no problem every day, but then
but you hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah, a $2
you
app.
Hesitate about
like,
an app.
I don't know.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. That stuff's definitely made it so much easier. And we were talking about it, like just technology in general is just made like this trip so much easier.
It's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
We've really only had to pull out we have a couple atlases or maps, and we've really only had to use those like maybe a handful of times.
Yeah.
In like Canada when we didn't have cell service on our way up to Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm curious about, you guys have been dating for about 3 years, is that right?
Yeah, about 2.5, 3, coming up on 3.
Coming up on 3.
Wow,
close
congrats,
enough.
Guys.
Thanks.
So what is like, you guys have been there for 6 months, what's the dynamic like? Do you guys have, do you need your alone time? Do you need time apart, time with other people? Do you get like a little stir crazy being in there? Are you guys out enough? Do you meet enough people? Like, how is that dynamic between you two? Have you had to adjust and learn to, kind of be with each other and stuff?
Yeah, it's a learning process, and it really has changed every season. Summer was really different than fall, which was really different than winter, because that really depends on where you're going to be, how long you're going to be there, and how much of the time is spent in the van. So I think at the beginning we were super, super excited to just, because like I said, we didn't live together before. So we were super stoked on just spending every single day together in every single moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're getting a little bit more comfortable with just saying, I'm gonna go take my alone time. Because we really were apart maybe like a couple minutes per day, and that was it. And everything else we were doing together all the time. Our hobbies are pretty intertwined. You know, we enjoy each other's company enough that it wasn't like I need to go get space from you. So I think we're getting better about it now, realizing that it's not bad to take space and we can go for a walk or plug in your headphones or do something private for a little.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely harder in the winter months because you are in the van the entire time. We haven't camped at all since it's been super, super cold. So that changes things. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add, Evan?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think also we just talked about it and planned for so long and throughout the build. It's like once we got in the van, it just felt like pretty natural. I don't know.
There wasn't like a transition period at all.
Yeah. And we were just doing so much and constantly seeing new things that it was just like so exciting for the two of us that we weren't like arguing or fighting. I mean, you definitely have, you know, those days where you just like need some space, but we were doing so much and outside and like hiking and whatever it was that it wasn't like, you know, a constant thing. Like I need to have my own space. But yeah, I mean, when we're stuck in the van for more time,
like 4 or 5 days in a row, and it's like 15 degrees outside. That's hard because I actually listened to a podcast the other day that was talking about this. Living in the van, you know, we're doing it on the more luxurious side, but you're uncomfortable more often than you would like to be because things are just harder. You don't have as much regulation on like temperature and you're just kind of at the will of a lot of other things. So when you're really uncomfortable, you get irritable, obviously, and you just need to learning to direct that in the right place and learning how to handle that. That can be challenging sometimes, but
yeah, you just learn to like be uncomfortable though. Yeah. Like if you're cold, you know, it's not cold. Just like you turn on the thermostat. It's like one of us, like it's, you know, it's just, we have to just rely on each other. And it's like, all right, one of us, you know, like we kind of have our set chores though. Yeah. Like, Katie usually does the dishes because
I do the dishes and he drives.
Because she can wash dishes with like no water. And you just, I don't know, you just have to like adapt. And
I mean, you have to get a routine, just like if you move in with a person, there's a routine that you have to learn. And at the beginning stages, it can be a little awkward and weird because you don't know where your strengths lie when you're living together, let alone in a tiny space like the van. So I think we have a pretty good routine down. Like if we get to a campsite, we can unpack the car or get our campsite set up or whatever it is pretty fast. And we both kind of know what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And we know kind of where our chores lie. Like you said, the washing versus the drying. So we try to balance that out. Yeah.
Pretty well. So, I mean, it's like helped, I guess.
Because, I mean, it is a lot of work to live in a car. And you think about 3 meals a day, cleaning up those meals, keeping your car clean. There's a lot of tasks that have to be done consistently in the car. So making sure that, you know, we're splitting those up properly, that one person isn't doing everything while the other person just like sits in bed or sits in the seat. We try to be aware of that. And I think we've gotten pretty good at it, actually.
Wow, cool. Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like it's just like anything, like there's, you know, good, easy days. And then, you know, there's the tougher days where you guys have to, you know, figure out how, you know, you're going to have fun together and appreciate each other more. But that's good that you guys have set your different tasks and have sort of a routine and stuff. So it sounds like you guys are really figured it out and gotten good at that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
One thing also that has super helped is we got these like movie passes. They're like a card that you can go to unlimited movies in a month, and it's like a set fee. Mm-hmm. And if something is like not working out, or it's just a bad day, or it's too cold, we can go to a movie, which actually works wonders because you're able to sit there and spend time together, but you're not just focused on each other all the time. And it kind of it pulls you out of whatever it is that's going on for like 2 or 3 hours. Right. So that's been really nice. So we can just like sometimes we've gone at like noon or 2 or 5 or 7, and it just pulls you out of whatever it is that's going wrong for the time being. And then you're at a better place when you get out of that. So
that's
been
genius.
helpful.
Yeah, you could just go sit in a comfy chair in a nice, air-conditioned, comfortable place and just kind of, that's so cool. I love that. That's such a good idea, Katie.
It's really helpful.
Switches the subject.
Yes.
And then we come out and it's like, all right, you know.
Yeah, you
have
kind
something
of reset.
else to talk about now, and you reflect on the movie. And yeah, that's been a good one.
That's so cool. I love that. Man, cool. Well, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys being so honest and, sharing everything that you guys have learned and all this stuff. So where can people, connect with you guys, find pictures of your van and see what you guys are up to?
Our main platform is Instagram. We're So We Bought a Van, and it's S0 We Bought a Van, all one word. We have a Facebook page that we're kind of working on building up. That's the same thing. So We Bought a Van. I think that one is SO though. We're trying to kind of transition to SO, but the S0 on Instagram, unfortunately, or the SO is taken on Instagram. We were at soweboughtavan.wordpress.com. That's our blog. Mm-hmm. We're actually working with a marketing agency right now to transition that. So we just bought the domain, soweboughtavan.com, SOWEBOUGHTAVAN.com. There's nothing there yet, but there will be. I don't know when you're going to kind of work on this audio stuff, but there will be something there in the next month or two.
Yeah, we're working on a new website, but I would say Instagram is our biggest platform currently.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we answer DMs. We have an email contact in the Instagram. So we like to chat with people. We like to get in touch with people. If people have build questions or van questions, we're all about it.
Awesome. Appreciate that so much. That's so cool that you guys are willing to help and talk with other people who are interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, thanks again, Evan and Katie. I really appreciate you guys being on here and sharing everything. Have a good rest of the day and good luck on your next 6 months and see where that goes to.
All right. Thanks, Travis. Thanks for having us on here.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. So thank you very much to Evan and Katie for being on the show. Thank you for being here and listening to episode 3 of Campers and Vans Getting Coffee. I super appreciate that. So be sure to check out Evan and Katie on Instagram at So We Bought a Van, and their new website should be out soon. Probably by the time you're listening to this, their website will be up at soweboughtavan.com. And just super excited for them. Thanks them for being on again. And if you want to connect with me or send me an email, let me know how I'm doing or anything like that. You can send me an email at hello@campersandvansgettingcoffee.com. And then we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. You can go to campersandvansgettingcoffee.com to check out everything there, and all the links for all the stuff is there. So that's it. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.